Hello children, welcome to the fourth part of our lesson Synthetic Fibers and Plastic. In our previous sessions, we have learned about synthetic fibers. Now in this video, we are going to learn about plastics. So let's see what we are going to see in this video. So in this video, we are going to learn about plastics, different types of plastic, difference between thermoplastics and thermosetting plastics, and general properties and uses of plastic, and it would be followed by the exercise. Children, today we are living in the age of plastic. If we see around ourselves, we would observe that most of the things around us are made of plastics. Whether it's your pen, pencil, water bottle, compass box, chair on which you are sitting, or many other household items, all those are made up of plastic. So let's understand what are plastics. Plastics are polymers like synthetic fiber, which are made up of very large number of small monomers. So just like synthetic fibers, plastics are also polymers, which are formed by small molecules of monomers joined end to end. Generally, they are carbon compounds. Plastics have a special property that they are tough and strong when cold but soften on heating. That's why they can be molded into sheets or drawn into wires or various other shapes. That's why plastic finds its use everywhere. You can see plastics are used to make toys, suitcases, bags, cabinets, brushes, chairs, table, and many other countless items. The most common example of plastic which is found in our house is the polythene bag, which is used to make carry bags. Some of the common examples of plastic are bakelite, polyvinyl chloride, which is generally known as PVC, polystyrene, which is another name of thermocol. So all these things, they are plastics only, and they are carbon compounds. So now let's see what are the different types of plastics. So generally plastics are classified into two types. This classification is based on their reaction to heat. That means how they respond to heat. So the first type of plastic is thermoplastics. Thermoplastics are the plastic which becomes soft on heating and can be bent easily. So these type of plastic, they become soft and can be molded easily. Thus, these plastics can be molded into different shapes again and again by repeated process of heating and cooling. So thermoplastics can be recycled. We can make different things out of thermoplastic. As we heat them, they become soft and then they can be molded into some other shape. That's why we can recycle or reuse thermoplastic. Some of the common examples of thermoplastics are polythene, polyvinyl chloride, and polystyrene. So these all are thermoplastic which become soft on heating and then can be molded to desired shapes. Now the other type of plastic is thermosetting plastics. These are the plastic which once molded into a shape do not become soft on heating and cannot be molded into different shapes again and again. Now, what does it mean? It means that thermosetting plastic can be molded only once. When we are making some object out of this plastic, you can mold it only once. Once they get their shape, we cannot remold it, or I can say that thermosetting plastics cannot be recycled. These plastics maintain their shape and size even at high temperature. So, thermosetting plastics cannot be recycled because they don't change their shape and they resist high temperature. Some of the common examples of thermosetting plastics are bakelite, melamine, and formica. You must have seen bakelite in the handles of your pressure cooker at your home. Now let's understand the difference between thermoplastics and thermosetting plastics on different parameters. So first is the nature. So what are thermoplastics? Just now we have seen that they can be melted repeatedly by heating and hardened on cooling. Thus can be molded again and again into different shapes. Whereas thermoplastics, once molded into a particular shape, does not become soft on heating and cannot be molded second time. Now, effect of heat. On thermoplastic, they become soft on heating, whereas thermosetting plastic do not become soft on heating. Toughness. Thermoplastics are less tough as compared to thermosetting plastic, whereas thermosetting plastics are tough and rigid. Effect of very high temperature. Thermoplastics are less resistant to high temperature because if the temperature increases, they start melting or at times they may burn. Whereas thermosetting plastic are more resistant to high temperature. The next parameter is recycling. So thermoplastic, as we have seen, they can be molded again and again. They can be recycled, whereas thermosetting plastic cannot be recycled. Some of the examples just now we have seen polythene and PVC. These are thermoplastics, whereas bakelite, melamine, and formica, they are the examples of thermosetting plastics. Now let's see few properties and uses of plastics. The first property is plastics are non-reactive. This means plastics do not react with air and water, and hence they do not get corroded like iron or other metals. That's why we use plastics like PVC to make water pipes, overhead tanks, and other sanitary fittings. The next property is plastics are light in weight. Generally, plastics are light in weight and they are rigid, or I can say they maintain their shape. That's why we use plastics like thermocol for making disposable cups and other disposable items like this. We also use thermocol for packing material for fragile items. That means the items which can break easily. So you can see here like the household items like air conditioner or television, when they come in a thermocol packing. So we use thermocol for packing as it is light in weight, so it doesn't increase the weight of packing and keep the thing inside it intact and doesn't harm it. The next property of plastic is plastics are strong and durable. We have seen plastics are light in weight, but they are very strong and durable. That means they don't break easily. That's why we use plastic to make many household items like furniture. You must have seen many tables and chairs you made of plastic these days instead of wood. And plastics are also used in making unbreakable dinner sets. These are generally made up of melamine. The unbreakable dinnerware is made up of melamine. And carry bags are also made because of this reason, because they are very light in weight and carry large amount of weight. Now the next property of plastic is plastics are poor conductor of heat. So plastics are insulator, or I can say they don't conduct heat, and because of this reason thermosetting plastics like bakelite is used for making handles of cookware. You must have seen the cookwares in kitchen, they have such black colored handles. So these are made up of bakelite. Now since bakelite is a thermosetting plastic, it resists heat and even at high temperature it doesn't melt and protects the user from heat. Another use of this property is making insulated boxes like polystyrene or thermocol is used to make ice box, and sometimes this is also filled in the hollow walls of refrigerator. So here this thermocol acts as insulator and avoid the outside heat to go in this ice box or inside the refrigerator. So that's why we use plastics as insulator. Now let's see the next property of plastics. Plastics are poor conductor of electricity. In the previous slide we have seen that plastic are poor conductor of heat, so they are also poor conductor of electricity. And for this reason bakelite is used for making electrical switches and plugs. So you can see here these plugs or switches, they are made up of bakelite. We use bakelite for making switches because it is a thermosetting plastic and it is not affected by the heat. So just in case there is some fire in this electrical switches, these switches or plug, they don't burn easily and they resist the fire. That's why we use thermosetting plastics for making electrical switches. Now another use of this property is the electrical wires. You must have seen the wires are coated with some plastic. This plastic material is generally PVC or polyvinyl chloride. So the electric wires are coated with PVC in order to protect the user from electric shock. Otherwise, if we handle the electric wires barehanded, we may get shock. So these electric wires are covered by PVC. Now next property is the plastics are inert to chemicals. That means plastics do not react with chemicals. So that's why we can use plastic to make cookware or to store food items in it. Generally, if we store some acidic food in metallic containers, then they would react with the food items and they may spoil. That's why we can use plastic for storing different food items as they do not react easily with chemicals. Now, Teflon is a special plastic on which water and oil do not stick, and hence we use it to make non-stick cookware. So you must have seen non-stick cookware at your home. It has a black coating on it. This black coating is made up of Teflon, and you can see the oil or water, it doesn't stick on it. So we get a non-stick cookware, and it is coated with a substance known as Teflon, which is also a plastic. The next property of plastic is plastics are insoluble in water. So for this reason, containers like buckets, mugs, etc. are made up of plastic. You must have seen in your houses the buckets, etc. All these are made up of plastic. Even the water bottle which you use, they are mostly made up of plastic. Now, why plastic is used so much? Because of one of this major property that plastics are cheaper. Generally, plastics are less expensive as compared to metals and are easy to handle. That's why plastic finds its use in various areas. But as we have seen many good properties of plastic, there are some disadvantages like plastics are highly inflammable. Generally, the thermoplastics, they burn easily and produce harmful gases, and thus they pollute our environment. So this is one of the drawbacks of plastic. We will study about this in detail in our next session. Students, I hope now you would be able to answer these questions on the basis of knowledge which we have gained in this session. That's all for today's session. Thank you.